Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to download, install and run MMT 5G 6G Studio, an open source 5G research workbench from MakeMyTechnology that puts a complete standards aligned 5G network on your computer. And here's the cool part. You get both halves of a real mobile network, the 5G core network itself, and a tester that emulates base stations and phones, all in one software. No SIM cards, no radio hardware, no commercial equipment, just your Windows PC. Even if you have never touched 5G before, I'll walk you through every single step. Let's get started. Before we begin, here's what you need to know. First, a PC running Windows 11 or Windows 10 works too, as long as it's fairly recently built. Since the studio runs on something called WSL2, a Windows built-in Linux layer, don't worry, the installer sets all of that for you automatically. Second, an internet connection. We'll be downloading a couple of things. And third, a free tool called Git, which we will use to download the studio itself. Never used Git before? No problem. Installing it is our first step and it takes only a minute. So, firstly, open your browser and head to Git desktop. And now we'll go ahead and download not this but for Windows. Yeah. So as you can see on the screen, go ahead and click at Get Install for Windows, which is the official website to downloading Git. Yeah. Now go ahead and click for Git for Windows x64 setup. Now, in the top right hand corner, you must be seeing that my Git is being installed and we're going to be setting it up quite shortly. Again, like every other installer that you've worked with, this is also going to be fairly simple and most of it's going to just rely on its default settings. So I'm going to go ahead and start with giving a permission of yes. I'll scroll through the licensing file and I'll click next. For now, I'm going to let it be in my C drive in the programs files folder, but you can go ahead and select whatever folder you're comfortable with. And I'll click next. So I think I'll just keep the desktop option just open so that I might know where I can find it quite easily, a shortcut, and I'll go ahead and click next. Again, I'll just go ahead and click next. And yeah, so let the default settings just be as it is. Yeah, yes, yes, I would like to have the yes, I would. Yeah, yes. And finally, I'll click on the install button, which should now start installing my Git for me. This would take around less than a minute or a minute depending on your system, but surely most of the times it just takes under a minute to download. Yeah, now I'll go ahead and click on finish. Yes. And now, just to quickly verify it worked, I'll go ahead and open my command prompt. So what I'll do is I'll click on the start button and I'll just click CMD. That should open something called as the command prompt, right? And here I'll just go and write git hyphen version and I should be able to get yes. So my git version is 2.550 in Windows, which now signifies that I have git installed. So now we can move to the next part where I can download the MMT 5G Studio, yeah, from the website. So let me head over to MakeMyTechnology.com, and here when I land on the first page, I can see the home page, which obviously points to the different verticals of MakeMyTechnology. That's 5G, 6G, IoT, MMT GNU kit, which is an advanced communication lab kit, the AI part, robotics, and quantum, which are all available as of now. So let me go ahead and let me click on 5G, 6G. Yes. Now, when I land on this page, I do get a little glimpse of, what the products look like and what is available. And when I go on this, I see a couple of options. Let me just zoom out so that it covers the entire screen that I'm talking, right? So I can see different options. I could see Studio Test Bench, I could see Studio Core, I could see the Studio GNB, I could see Studio Academy, which comprises of the courses and 5G material. I could also see something called as a Studio Fleet and a Studio Field, right? So let me just go through them quickly so that you can understand what each of them have and where you must find yourself given what you're searching for. So the Studio Test Bench.
A 5G core and tester.
So when you click on the Studio Test Bench, you are greeted by the half part of the Studio, that is your Studio emulator. So a Studio Test Bench emulates GMBs and UEs against any 5G standalone core, right? So if you want, you can also view the document that it has. We also give a manual. You could go through that manual and you could even download it here, right? Let us not get diverted a lot. So
MMT
this is
Studio.
already something that I'll be covering in the upcoming videos in this playlist as well. So yeah, from here you could go directly to the Studio Core.
A 5G core and tester platform.
So the core is something that we will be downloading, and we will be downloading it through here. So we have a document that we can view. We can schedule a demo, and we can also see the Studio Test Bench from where we actually came. And obviously this is where we will also, you can find our YouTube channel here, through which we have various videos through which you can go to. Yeah, so our YouTube playlist will be coming up shortly and will complete out in a series of 5 to 6 videos which will show you what can be done with the MMT Studio and what are the applications and courses that can be taught over the MMT Studio. So now for today's video, we will just be having a look over what we are going to be installing and how we will go ahead with installing it. So here we can come on view on GitHub is the actual open source and freely available to everyone repository that you just go by clicking. And yes, here is a repository that we will be downloading our MMT Studio from. So if you come below, you could see that it's written as the 5G core, tester, and the orchestration platform all in one application. So you could see the core and the functions that are there, the AMF, SMF, UPF, everything inbuilt. Also a little bit of crucial information, this is not built on the Open 5Gs core, but is the core developed by MakeMyTechnology and is India's first stable core. So we also have a tester, which is your Python and robot tester, which actually simulates where I'll show you in the upcoming part how many test cases are there. Now coming to the part that we are going to follow, right? So the installation, it works on both Windows PC as well as Linux. So for developers who have actually worked with Open5GS are very well versed that Open5GS needs to be installed on a Linux system. That means any of the Ubuntu series, right? But we went ahead and tried making it something very similar for researchers and PhD graduates by going ahead and deploying it on the Windows 11. Now again, for anyone who would want to go in depth, could also see that we have also given a write-up of the commands that actually you would require to run the core, get it up and running, to see the logs, to restart it if any issues pertain, or to even down it, right? And similarly, if you want to go ahead on Linux, you could also go and try that on Linux. Yeah. So this is the architecture. As you can see, I think you could see also for yourself if you come to the GitHub repository through my website. And this is the spec compliance. So it is compliant with the 3GPP19 features as well, and 16 features are also present, but most of the features are up to 3GPP19 specs. Yeah. And with that, I think we can go ahead and let's just see how we can actually download this from the repository. So we are now currently working with a Windows 11. In the upcoming videos, we will show you how to set it up on other operating systems as well. But since this was one of the most required videos, we started with a Windows 11. So let's first go ahead and I will go ahead and I'll copy the clone command, if you can see. Yeah, mention I will be using, the script would be using some of the commands for which I would have to run it as an administrator. So let me just go ahead and, like you see here, I'll click on this option called run as administrator. Yeah, which would then pop this and the pop-up that I would, yes. So if you see something like this with such kind of a font, so you could also understand it's in the administrator. So what we could do is, suppose I want to run it out of my downloads folder, right? So I'll just go ahead and let me just, yeah, right click and copy as path, right? So I've copied its path. I go to my PowerShell and I control V, and yeah. So now you see, earlier I was pointing to the system32 folder, but now I have switched to my downloads folder where I want to, basically want to set the clone to. So I'm going to go ahead and where is my clone? Yeah. So this is what I would want to clone, right? And that's it. I just go ahead and I press enter. And if you can see, it's cloning it into that directory, right? Please make sure that you have a stable internet connection while this is happening, so that we can just, it can download everything that requires downloading and can also do a spec sheet. I'm going to, yeah, so cd MMT hyphen, yeah, studio, this thing. And I just use a tab button to get things done quickly. And yeah, and I'm going to open the orchestrator. So the orchestrator here is a platform that controls both the studio core and the tester itself, right? If you could go through the GitHub repository in the meantime, you could also understand how the entire functionality works. Yeah. So this is the command that I'm going to open on. Yeah, for people, you can just copy it and you can just easily paste it. Yeah. So if you could see, this is going to download Docker desktop for you as well, and it's going to set up the entire thing from scratch. So all you got to do is lay back and now relax. So this could take some several minutes as well. Yeah, I think it's just finishing installing my Ubuntu right now, Ubuntu 24.04 version, and now it's going ahead with Docker desktop. So this by itself, it will self download it and install it, and also open it up whenever you boot up the 5G Studio. You don't need to open the Docker desktop by itself and switch on or off the containers. And even if you don't know how to work with Docker, it's completely all right. You don't even have to interact with it. It will just be downloaded on your Windows PC, and it will be required because we use a container architecture on the Studio. Now, if you come across such kind of an error message, this happens due to two reasons. One, if you would have an interrupted internet connection, or second, during desktop installation, you would have to restart your PC, or Docker by itself would try to restart your PC. So don't worry. All you have to do is run the command install on Windows BAT again. So here I just go ahead and use my arrow keys. Yeah, yeah, and I run the command again. And as you can see, it begins from where it stopped. So you don't have to do anything. And that's it. MMT 5G Studio is now installed and up. So as you can see, it just switched on itself from the Docker desktop, and it is live in your desktop. So yeah, let us just go head over to any of the browsers. I am particularly using uh, Chrome. Let me just go and type in localhost. So there are two ports, so 5000 and 5001. So 5000 is going to be used by the MMT Studio core, and 5001 is now going to be used by my SA tester. So let me just go ahead and run that as well. And that's it. So you have now successfully installed MMT 5G Studio on your Windows laptop. Yes, so that's how you install and run MMT 5G Studio on your Windows laptop. Now I'll just show you how to down the core if many of you are done at this point and just want to, take it down and want to run it back again. So I'll just head over to GitHub and I'll just copy the command that is run_studio.bat down. Yeah, and as you can see, it's downing the core by itself. And that's it, as simple as that. So if you got any questions or you're stuck at any point, please reach down in the comment section and leave us a note, and the team will get back to you. So if this helped you out, consider subscribing for more 5G tutorials and to keep in sync with all 5G content that we put out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.